I make a lot of videos on things like the Game Boy or the DS's, the Xboxes, the PlayStations. And that would, I guess, lead people to assume that I don't really venture much further than those systems. When in fact, I actually do branch out my preferred gaming media quite a bit. Uh, a big one is VR. Uh, for the purpose of today's video, I have been for the last couple days, which is why I haven't uploaded in a while, and for that I apologize. Um, I have been trying to procure a PSVR Gen 2, and if you're wondering why specifically the Gen 2 version, it's because the Gen 2 version is the better model. So if I'm going to be talking about how the system functions and whether it's even worth messing with, you want to use the best model because that's just the best comparison. Most people have second gens now. Well, second runs. I have a first run in my shed somewhere. I don't know where it is, and I'm not gonna go get it. But I'm gonna be comparing this mostly to the Quest 3, as most people still have a PS4, and if they're interested in playing VR, this is probably the route that they're gonna go. One, PSVR is cheaper. You can usually find them secondhand for about 100 to 150, depending on whether or not they come with games. The controllers are rechargeable, unlike the Oculus controllers. And they recharge using micro USB, which is the same charger that the PS4 uses for its controller. So if you have a charger cable for your controller, you're already set to charge them. However, to play 99% of VR games, you do need both of them, and you do need to sacrifice a USB port on the front of the PS4 to properly use the PSVR. We'll get to that in a minute. So you're only going to be able to charge one of the controllers at a time if the only USB port you have is the system. But that's pretty much where the benefits of the PSVR end. I don't believe that for a second that I would choose the PSVR over the Quest 2. I don't know about the PSVR 2 yet. I'm not going to be spending $600 on a system that I've already spent $600 on. I'm not saying that I wouldn't enjoy and play the PSVR 2. It's just with how low my income is, I can't justify buying a PSVR 2 for how little I actually play VR. Overall, I have a lot of experience with VR. I've played a lot over time. I just don't play often. The setup process was kind of a nightmare. We're going to go back to what I said about the whole wires deal. The PSVR requires 5 wires to get up and running, and that's a lot. The PS4 itself, well, no, it's not even, the PS4 itself only requires 2, assuming that you don't charge the controller. It's 3 if you do. So in total, that brings it about 7 cables to get this 7 cables to get the PSVR to work. The Oculus Quest, just 1 cable to charge the headset. Now I know the PSVR 2 only has 1 cable, and I applaud Sony for optimizing it. But we're comparing similar age systems to each other. yes, the Oculus Quest 2 does not have rechargeable batteries, but that's fine. I have bought rechargeable Energizer AA's, so I've already solved that problem. But it's not a terrible experience. The head does kind of weigh heavy. The PSVR has better glasses support, I've noticed, because I wear some pretty thick glasses. Not thick as in the lenses are thick. I'm talking about like pretty square, pretty large glasses, and I can't wear them while playing my Oculus, despite the glasses cover, well, the glasses thing. But the PSVR, without any adapter, has this little button at the top that you can press to pull the visor forward and back. And on the bottom, you've got power on. You've got the inbuilt speaker. You've got mute, volume down, volume up. Then the back here, you have what adjusts the headband back. Press this button in, and then this dial helps lock it in. Overall, it's a really good attempt. You can really tell that Sony did at least try to make a bearable headset. And for the time it was in, it actually was a really fun way to play games. But when compared to the Quest 2, which there will be a video on in the coming days, and I won't need to procure one because I already have one. I just need to make sure it's charged. And fun news, the Quest 2 actually does have a feature which allows for built-in video sharing. So I actually can record videos, send it to my phone, so that while I'm reviewing it, you can watch me have at it. I would say the PSVR, if you have no other options and you really, really want to play VR, I'd say it's worth it. There are better options out there, and most of you will know that and not understand the point of this video, but there are much better options. But if the PSVR is your only option, I wouldn't be too upset, because there actually are a few games that are pretty fun, like Superhot and Skyrim. And I actually did play a good 4 or 5 hours of Skyrim VR for the sake of this video. I wanted to refresh myself, because the last time I actually had used one of these was back in, God, 2015, I think. But not the point. The displays are 720p. I believe the refresh rate is something like 30-40 hertz, and they've got a pretty noticeable screen door effect going on, but it doesn't detract from the gameplay once you get used to it. I give the PSVR 1, at most, a 7 out of 10. It does its job. It's a lot better than the crappy ones you put your phone into, but it's not exactly the one I would buy if I had a choice. Without further ado, leave a like, subscribe, and let me know down in the comments about how you feel about the PSVR.